Alexa, turn on local radio 102.7.
WIRL from tuning. I'm having trouble playing that right now.
Alexa, are you on strike today?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Just checking. Anyway, Alexa, turn on the Spectrum on Sirius XM.
The spectrum from Sirius XM. I'm having trouble playing that right now.
I don't think Alexa's working today. Alexa, did you clear that PTO with your supervisor?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Am I right? Right. Sometimes you just gotta take a mental health day, right? It is quiet here again because they're all done with the installation and work done on the house. So that was very nice. And the roof looks good. So I'm happy person, right? I also had a live scheduled where the title is Just Because You Are a Character Doesn't Mean You Have Character, right? I was trying to edit that one to go live earlier. So if you see that out there deleted later, that is this reading right now. I'm just doing it earlier, sooner, right? Yeah, and I didn't make that up. That was in a movie called Pulp Fiction, right? When Harvey Keitel's character is talking to his girlfriend whose dad runs just the car crushing, the scrapyard. Okay. And he says, "Goodbye, la la," and she's like, "Say goodbye, la la." And he's like, "Yeah, just because you are a character doesn't mean you have character." And she's just kind of like, "Shut up." But he's like really insulting her with that comment, right? Like, people calling you a character might be because they see you as something to make fun of, not based on the quality of your character or how you act when others are looking, like your moral compass, right? Your character is actually supposed to be your moral compass, right? Versus talking about people as though they are a character in a play, right? Oh, we got this character coming in for a line or two. I was thinking about that for a while as I was out in public. Right. Um, for some of us, it's not too peoply. Somebody asked in the chat, Galaxy Dawn asked me, "You look like you collect pigeons." I personally have never had a pet pigeon or a passenger pigeon, although pigeons are very popular in our town. If that's something that you would like to get into, Galaxy Dawn, I'm sure there's a YouTube channel for you. Passenger pigeons were obviously used to send messages, before we had the internet and people could lazily get on to other people's YouTube channels and, right, share their deepest, most innermost desires with the host. Yeah. So just because you are a character doesn't mean you have character. So yeah, because this person, when I was out in public, they were like, "Oh yeah, I was talking to so and so the other day. They gave me a hug. Oh yeah, they were like, yeah, she's a character." And I thought about that movie and I thought, yeah, well, just because you are a character doesn't mean you have character, right? You know? And what do they say? What's done in the dark will come to the light. So, you know, not everybody, it's so funny. And then I posted that, you know, the are you gonna get dressed up today? Dressed up how? Sean Bleier, Bleiler. Yeah. Hmm. In dress clothes. Well, I mean, what kind of dress clothes? I mean, this is a hoodie. Have you not ever seen a hoodie before? Do you know what a hoodie is? I mean, y'all aren't that dumb, are you? I mean, if so, you might need to go visit some other YouTube channels for some more remedial level. Uh, do you know what I'm saying? Powers of observation learning. You know what I mean? And yeah. Anyhow, I think we're going to get into the reading now. So, thank you everyone who is in the chat. Somebody says they dress with tights, men in tights. Y'all ever remember that Robin Hood movie, right? Men in tights. Somebody also asked, do you play wall hop games? Is that a kind of video game? Foxy exclamation point. Oh righty. Yes. So lots of energy out there, as you guys can see. Um, Sean, probably not, because where I'm at, there's a heat wave today, and usually ladies don't wear tights or pantyhose or hose. We don't wear hosiery typically on very hot days. Like, have you ever been to Florida? Very few women down there wearing hosiery. Especially like in Miami or southern, Tampa. Tampa time, right? Tampa time! Right? These bitches be like, I'm on Tampa time. I don't got time to put on pantyhose. Especially, have you ever been around a man? They'll be like, why are you trying to put that on? It's just gonna come off later. Right? Hi, Matt Torrance. How are you today? Do you like to visit Torrance in general? BitTorrents, perhaps? It's so funny. Napster was like, what? One of the first torrent kind of platforms, but we didn't call it that. We called it Napster, and it was cool. You know what I mean? And we were just trading music with our friends like we did CDs, tapes, things of that nature, right? A lot of people didn't think of it as a big deal, the big deal that it became, the disruptor it became. So collective for some of you, I feel like you may be this disruptor, okay? And part of that is being felt more intensely right now because Sean is very hung up on this dress. Yes, Sean, I do own those articles of clothing as well. Maybe Sean's trying to decide what he's going to wear today. Think about a kilt. You ever think about a kilt, Sean? One of my relatives, her husband wore a kilt in their wedding. But that's part of their heritage and ancestry. And I mean, like, for real, because even me, somebody very linguistically inclined, I had a very, very difficult time understanding what these folks were saying. Thank God for body language. Am I right? You know what I mean? And sometimes that's the tower too, right? You go up to somebody, one of my exes told me this. He's like, Oh, if you get too crowded, like at a concert, right? He'd be like, see my Jason Isbell shirt. That's a musical entertainer for those of you that can't read backwards, because I know it's on, selfie view. So it's very difficult for some folks that are in the chat today to be able to read that, backwards and forwards. I personally have always been able to do that. I was also ambidextrous when I was younger. Um, but they make you choose, right? And so I was like, well, I guess I'm going to be right-handed, right? Everything's designed for. Right. My dad's left-handed. So they used to have those coffee cups. It's like, oh, the Simpsons episode, I'm a left-hander living in a right-hander's world. Right. The Ned Flanders, right? He's going to go open up the lefty store. Yeah. Problem is they can't grow them because they're not eating properly. Well, some folks, yeah. I just watered my garden last night. Do I have an AM radio? I have a radio that plays AM and FM and satellite. All right, hang on. I gotta make sure I don't. Perfect. I put my grocery order in last night, you guys. So I'm, and it's gonna be quite warm today. So I thought I'm gonna get this reading done for you guys, and then because my grocery order is gonna come, and then I'm gonna be busy with that and all other things that I have to do today. So. Username 123 says Bigfoot is real. You know what? I'm not going to argue with you about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti type. I mean, there's a whole Yeti brand, and aren't they making the bank? Okay? Who's going to argue with that? I'm just saying. 7 of Wands. Yeah, there could be people wanting to come to argue with you, collective, but you might be like, look, I'm busy with stuff, right? Just kind of like I'm doing this reading now, but then I have the rest of my day to continue, right? Username 123, did he take you in the spaceship first before that happened? I'm just curious what your Bigfoot looks like. I dated somebody once, his nickname was Foot. Thank God I didn't have to call him that. You know what I mean? Like, like one of my dad's buddies that he used to hang out with. I mean, his job was in, like, with the sewer department or something, so they used to call him the shit man. They're like, oh, the shit man's here. You know what I mean? Like, hey, man, somebody's got to do it, right? I'd rather know the shit man than not know the shit man, you know what I mean? But when your pipes are clogged, you might need. The truth is out. Right? Who signed up for Reddit just to read the poop knife story? I mean, when that first came out, right? Talk about a knife. Right? Is it like that Crocodile Dundee knife? He's like, no, that's a knife. And it's like, okay, yeah. So collective, weighing things back and forth, balancing on this and that. Yeah, you can do that. Or you can get on with it, right? What they say, shit or get off the pot. Like anything you want, good results, you got to work for it. Absolutely agree with that, Joseph Ferry. That's why the channel's called Manifest Wisely, right? I was watering my garden last night. Why was I doing that? Because I want the vegetables to continue growing. It's not complicated, right? A lot less expensive too. Absolutely. You are correct about that. Saving my monies. Okay. High Priestess. Look at that. Collective. So this full moon that is occurring, the surgeon moon, I feel like, yeah, you're going to be stepping more into your intuition. You're going to be trusting your intuition more. And if that means maybe spending more time alone and going into a Virgo, mode shifting into a Virgo mode. I mean, think about it. We're in Leo season now. We're going to have this full moon. School's getting back in session. Everything, the height of the summer, right? And then stuff's going to start to settle down a little bit. Some people never figure out what to do besides run around here, there, and everywhere else. Other people take up hobbies like, starting YouTube channels or reading to their children, right? Anything can do, right? It doesn't always have to be in that public forum. So, some folks are not comfortable getting online. There's a local business owner I know who has been very, she's probably the definition of oversharing online, right? But she has a community of people where that's how they communicate, right? So a collective, the way you do that, maybe that could be with a church group. Maybe that could be with a support group or something. Maybe that's when you go to your kids' games and then you see the other single folks there and you're like, hey, me too, right? Whatever it is. Whatever it is, right? Okay. So, and you're not gonna, and look, you're guess what? You're actually at your kids' game. Unlike some other people who don't even have a fucking car to get there, right? Trust me, I know, because when I was an Uber driver, they have paid me for rides to get there. And then they talked about how great their kid was and how they were going to get a scholarship and this and that. And it's like, it's always so interesting when you meet folks that are proud of their children. So collective, you may have been balancing, but you're balancing the right things and you're getting into the right place. Okay. Because you might be sitting there in your little lawn chair with your little iPad or your book or whatever. Right. It's like, oh, is my kid up? Yeah. Okay. Oh, did something happen? Yeah. Right. Just don't be like those people that are always on their freaking cell phone. And then when the balls go flying, you're like, oh my God, it's so dangerous. Get off your phone. Or sit behind the fucking safety gear. Don't be a moron. And wear a goddamn life jacket when you get on the fucking water, you fucking morons out there. I'm so sick of fucking seeing it. I'm sick of it. How many of these things are preventable, right? Somebody put in the chat, people, about these traffic lights and stuff. Well, yeah, people get impatient. They just start going through, oh, well, it's just a suggestion. Is that? Is that? Okay. A lot of folks, they act like they got, emergency personnel lights on their vehicle driving around town. And it's like, no, you don't. The only emergency personnel that's going to visit you is to check it, see if you're still breathing. Yeah. Right. Roundabouts are the way to go. Roundabouts have been proven to help improve the flow or maintain the flow of traffic. And I feel like over in Europe they call them roundabouts, but in the United States, in many towns and villages, for over a century or more now, some towns have already started celebrating their sesquicentennials and bicentennials, all this stuff. They have what we call a town square, which is kind of round because you have a circle of traffic going around it, right? It's a traffic circle, if you will, and the fancier name is Roundabouts, right? And also, you might know the song. I wonder. I'm gonna check now. See. I was gonna ask I was gonna ask Alexa to play Roundabout for me on Amazon Music, but I don't know if she can do that for me today. It's a varied song. Just, there's a reason it was on the radio a lot, especially in the 80s when I was growing up. hmm Six of Wands, celebrate, yeah. Um, feel like there's some of this quietness, some of this poise, some of this standing on knowing that you're where you belong. Okay. Maybe, yeah, judgment. Boom, boom. Maybe you got two of them, little mini me's running around, quoting you back to you like, right, right. It's like, where did you learn that language? Because goddamn it, nobody talks like that around this fucking house. And I don't want to hear another damn word from you little shits. Right, right. I mean, I haven't signed up to sub yet this year, but you guys, I'm thinking about it. Because some of this is just almost too fun. And, I feel like some of it's wasted on adults, to be honest. Um, but my point of that is, you know what? So you maybe didn't make it to Lollapalooza this year, but you are making it to all of your kids' little soccer games, right? You're in the place that you need to be, right? That is, you know, because trust me, there's somebody ready to criticize you about that too. Oh, you see, they didn't even bring their kid any snacks. Oh my God, I can't believe they missed the regionals game. Oh my God, they didn't want to carpool with me and so and so. I just, you know what I mean? There's always something. You don't have to be friggin' Beyonce to get criticized around here. I didn't know if you hadn't noticed. And that's the for real, shiznit. Shiznit tickle. Okay, so Fibu, Ibu, Ribi, Ibam, I don't know all the other words, but if you can figure that one out, then you really got it going on. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the judgment is here. Yeah, that full moon's going to come up whether you want it to or not, right? At a certain point, the hammer comes down, right? What goes up must come down. Spinning wheel. Dun, 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 dun. Tell your trouble, right? The 70s was a really great time for music too, because you got a lot of bands that were integrating, and that wasn't always kindly looked upon. I mean, the Allman Brothers were a very famously integrated band that started in the South, um, in the 60s though, but even though they continued on into the 70s, but still, if you read or listen to Greg Allman's audiobook about his life, you'll get a very nice, interesting history lesson about how they had to move forward in the face of adversity. Somebody in the chat says you're breaking up way too much. My apologies, there might be an issue with the live, and I don't know if they're doing work in the area that is impacting our internet system, okay, especially since Alexa feels like she's on for today. Thank you, Alexa.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
But I will say if you go back and watch it on a replay, usually any buffering issues are resolved. And also, if you wait long enough, usually the closed captions will appear also. So if you're, somewhere where you're not wanting to have the volume on and you're just wanting to read on the screen, you can do that as well. Alrighty then. So, is Torrance there board certified? Is he board certified? Is that it? Could have fooled me, right? We're gonna do some of the Lovers Oracle just because we are headed into the weekend, okay, and it is a full moon. And yeah, you might want to go check out if this message is resonating with you at all, just kind of the wildness of the full moon upcoming. You may want to check out last night's reading, okay, because the full moon card literally came out, okay. So shoot. But today's show here, they have some of those folks still cleaning up down in Texas from that flash flood. I mean, I have really seen lately some flash flood videos, and you would think, and then like the American Airlines thing, it's like, did none of them people that didn't get off that airplane, did they not hear about those floods and how those came up so fast? When safety personnel are telling you, get the fuck out of the way, get the fuck out of the way. Don't become part of the wreckage, part of the carnage, part of the incidentals, okay? Don't be that kid, right? Showing up to the right. Here I am. What are you doing? What are you doing with your life, son? You want a job? Go get trained. Go to school. Get trained in something. Okay? Don't just be showing up because you played a video game a couple times. Because guess what? That's right. It's a bitch. We are in the fucking real world now, ain't we? Yeah, we are. We're in the fucking real world now. You ever hear that, Rolling Stones? Dun 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 dun. Right? Somebody says there in the comments, in the shipyards, when they tell you to run, you better run. I would believe that, exactly. Because you know how big a person is compared to any piece of equipment or machinery, and you think that little hard hat is going to help your little soft... Trust me, you won't be worried about your pecker because it ain't going to be a brain to operate it. Right? Mm-hmm. That's why they tell these boys to wear a cup so they're not running around with their freaking hands over their pee-pees all the goddamn day, so they can think about something else. And he says, yes, and young people, they think they know everything. Well, of course, because we were all invincible once. This is part of it, too. It's scientifically proven, right? Paboon here. Paboon. Not sure how you pronounce your name. Scientifically proven that, your brain doesn't stop developing, right? Until you're, into your 20s, right? Yeah, and some of this is just literally like listening to instructions, right? Some people learn by trial and error, unfortunately, right? And, some of those folks then want to go turn around and sue and stuff like that. That's why these companies have probationary periods and stuff. You know what I mean? That's why there's a 30-day, there's a 90-day. You ever see Urban Cowboy, right? They could go out, showboating, getting drunk with his friends on, and show up to work the next day, and no problem. Let's just get up on all this shifty, you know what I mean? Be fine. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, part of the reason he got into the accident was because he shouldn't have been at work in the first place. Right? Well, thank you for your offer to be a moderator. I think your kind comments or contribution to the chat, anyway, I should say, is helping moderate it today. Because some folks come in a little hot, right? And I don't know if they realize where they're going. It's like, did you mean to land on my channel? Ooh, somebody's saying you've triggered me. So yeah, this full moon may definitely be triggering for somebody. And that could be why they're wanting to come around. Kind of like they were the bear getting poked and they're like finally woke up out of hibernation. And now it's like 20 pokes worth. And they're like, oh, right? I dated this one dude. He always used to like scratch his back up on the, he's like, I'm like a bear. Do you know what I mean? But it was kind of like that. Like they're finally waking up and scratching that itch, and it's like, but you might be like, well, that's what I got you the back scratcher for. Right? Like, anyway. Emotions overwhelm me. I was also thinking about those Texas lawmakers that had to flee the state, right, and are being threatened to be being arrested by the governor of Texas down there. You come back to Texas right now. Right? God, can you imagine if you had to have a fucking abortion just to save your life? So you could get back to, work in Texas. Where they're still cleaning up, from that catastrophe. What a nice distraction for the governor, huh? Coming up to Illinois and causing trouble that way. It's never the people that never want to hold up that mirror, right? Like I'm talking about, like those little mini-me's, right? They're holding up that mirror to you every day, aren't they? Mm-hmm. And you're like, shit. Right? Do as I say, not as I do. Right? I mean, that's what a lot of our politicians want us to, right? I mean, would that redistricting have prevented all those people from dying in that flood? Governor Abbott, is this a safety prevention measure? Deep in the heart of Texas. Do tell us more, Governor. I'm so entertained. He looks a little thin, too, for all that good Texas barbecue. I mean, boy. Am I right, Governor Prisker? We'd be all slapping ourselves up a plate of that, wouldn't we? I don't know why that Governor Abbott don't feel like eating. All those wealthy industrialists. Y'all ever see that movie Giant? Remember that movie? All that inherited oil wealth down there. Oh, those rich people. Is that what they were doing on the plane? They're like, well, I'm rich, so I have to have my suitcase upon leaving. One of my cousins-in-law or whatever, you know what I mean? One of my cousin's wife, she works for the airlines. I mean, this is her job. I can't imagine if she was in like a dangerous situation like that and because of some fucking idiot passenger, you know. And the crew is supposed to be the ones, going down with the ship, right? Help, I mean, one of the last times I flew, the flight attendant had to tell the man next to me 3 to 4 times to put his bag fully underneath the seat under him or, in the overhead bin. He had these little headphones on. So cute, and they act like they can't hear you. Act like they've never been on a plane before. Oh, it's so cute, isn't it? It's so fucking moronic. It's gonna get you on the no fucking fly list, motherfucker. That's what they need to start doing. Start fining these people. Start giving them a yellow tag and red tag warnings like they do in soccer. Just like it's a privilege to drive, it's a privilege to be on a bus. It's a privilege to be on a plane, isn't it? You know how many people have to walk to work? Try it sometime. Might be a little more grateful for the people trying to get you from point A to fucking B in one fucking piece, you fucking piece of shit. I was saying I like this one cousin of mine, and his wife seems like a nice person. So get out of her fucking way and do what she fucking says on that goddamn plane. Because trust me, you don't want me behind you. I've been to jail before. Haven't I? I think everybody knows that. So ask me, am I scared of your suitcase? No, I'm not. Is that what they were saying about their bag? I can't let go of you. I don't understand what happened. Dude, tell us more about how you just didn't understand. It's kind of like the girl on Dr. Phil the other day that just didn't understand when they showed up with all them guns to their house that her boyfriend was gonna. Yeah. She's eligible when she's 59. She'll be eligible for. Yeah, okay. What do they say? A picture is worth 1,000 words. I cannot express myself. This person has. Okay. So this person collective could be used to not saying anything, right? And it's kind of like on the tip of their tongue, like full moon energy, like right, that kind of thing. I really like those one American Airlines planes that have they either have the videos like the old school buses, or they have it right on the screen in front of you. So when they do the safety thing, you're like, it's like right in front of you. You're almost forced to watch it, because most people, these days, I don't think they really pay attention to the flight attendants, or they're like talking while they're presenting and stuff, which is really rude. Yeah. I mean, does somebody come into your place, and when they're giving you an order, then somebody else starts talking to you at the same time? I mean, is that kosher? I mean, have we made it to logic level 1 yet? I mean, are we there yet, Governor? Because I just don't know. This state is super big. So big and wide. What was the width of that floodplain that came through? Kind of curious. Yeah, it was like a highway coming through. It's like more than a highway. Reminds me of those old runaway slave days, right, Governor Abbott? Let's just go get them. Let's just go get them back from Illinois. We'll bring them back to Texas, and then we'll not tell them about the Emancipation Proclamation. Is that how it works? We get a few more years out of them. Governor? No comment, Governor? Well, it is reminiscent and all. For those history buffs out there that like to read and stuff, all that reading and writing and arithmetic that goes on up here in Illinois. For all those hillbillies and rednecks and night fishermen and, people like to hunt deer. Don't put up with my BS, Governor. I won't. Don't worry, because I'm worth it, and you're not. I feel like that's what some of those Texas lawmakers were doing. They're like, you know what, Governor? We're just not going to put up with your BS right now. I mean, Illinois has had some governors in jail. And I don't mean just like DUI jail. I mean like they got sent to prison jail. 2 of them. I mean, that's just in my lifetime history. I don't know before I was born if we had any other criminals. But, we are traditionally a very corrupt state. Yes. But we're Midwest, so you never know, right? 50-50 shot. Right, Governor? I mean, honestly, some of us, we vote for both the Dems and the Repubs and the whoever's trying not to screw us over the hardest, because folks like us have to go to Walmart, right? And we're trying to get our $4.88 pound or $3.96 pound of strawberries while they're in season, at least, right? Or 2 pounds, yeah. Mm-hmm. I understand it costs a little bit to ship things up here to us folks in the great state of Illinois, but we got these things called railroads and trucking, interstate highways and byways and all sorts of things, Governor. Maybe you should visit how the other half live after natural selection has a chance to do its job. Drama. Am I right? Woo-hoo. So, yeah. If you're getting the judgment, right? You're showing up to the games, right? But you're getting the you know what I mean? Who? All right. All right. Cuz trust when I say there's a whole bunch that aren't. And some can't cuz they're working. God forbid they're putting fucking food on their freaking little minions' plates. I mean, one of my friends, when she had a child, she called him her demon spawn. And I was like, what a way to lovingly refer to your child. But you know, I mean, especially the people that actually have kids. We know what little aliens they can be, right? Okay. Yeah. Right. It's always a perfect world until they actually have to do it. Right? It's always so picture perfect until they have to actually step up and take some accountability. Right? You know, God forbid you actually show up, right? You know, it's like the mentality and logic of some of these folks just really doesn't align with anything on a higher level. You know, and some of these folks are with the other person straight out of convenience, right? It's about paying bills, it's about take me here, it's about, you know, I saw this little short video on YouTube the other day. I was really hoping it was a fake, but I'm like, I don't think it is. This guy shows up, shows his wife this house he bought. She's like, this is not what we agreed on. And this was supposed to be their first house. Like, it looked like a pretty. Have you seen home prices lately? I can't even imagine what this thing fucking cost these days. You know what I mean? But he opened up the door, like the flooring looked like there was wood. You know, it wasn't all no foreclosed type. You know what I mean? Property or anything like that. They had to do a whole bunch of work or anything. She's like, this. Where's the house? Our section gonna fit in here? And he's like, honey, we have to save some money in the bank. We can't just put all of it in the house. You know? And it made me realize this woman has no concept of money, no concept of how hard her husband was working. None. Because if it was up to her, obviously they would be living in a fucking poorhouse. I mean, if I was his friend, I'd be like, you might want to think about getting yourself a different wife there, pal. Just saying. What was that Icky Thump song? Yeah. When he says, learn to clean a bathroom themselves. Right? I mean, Jack White is one of 13 kids. I think he figured out how to kind of tend for himself. I mean, if you watch any documentaries about him when he was a little kid, he was organizing his room into this it's pretty awesome. if you're a music fan. I won't ruin it for you by divulging really anything because I was once an avid collector myself, right? You know, when folks be like, oh, are you a fan? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a fan. They're like, yeah, but are you really a fan? Because you have this album and this. I'm like, well, if you want to come over and look through my collection, I guess you can, but right? Some people want you to be street cred. Well, what if your ex stole all your fucking albums? What, you're not a fan anymore? Fuck that bitch. You know what I mean? Right, Abbott? Fuck that bitch. Who cares about them bitches and their health, right? Fuck them, because when When we're in Texas, we'll just send out an order and come and get them out and snatch them back down from Illinois. Deep in the heart of Texas. Some people use drama, such as myself, to express, right? Some of you could be writing something, maybe a little play, a little skit. When I was in school, we did skits. Yes, and acted them out in front of the whole school sometimes. Oh my God. Right? People be doing all sorts of stuff on the internet. Right? Oh, that was it. So yeah, Buffy and Muffy. Great. Sorry, Buffy, I'm not into your Muffy. How about that? So in that movie, and she's widowed now, and she was like, had started dating somebody, and her friends and family didn't approve, and blah blah. Well, they were at some little socialite party that she was going to, her old life, right? When she was married to her husband, which whatever. But then while they're at the party, and they show this in the preview, which I posted this on my community tab. They, some guy comes in all drunk. He's like, "Oh, well, now that you're," you know what I mean? Like she's some used up old dish rag. So who cares if he comes? You know what I mean? And lays one on her or spooges on her, or however the blue dress analogy works for you in this situation. I'm a Gen Xer, right, Bill? Anyway. Yeah. We lived through Monica Lewinsky over here, folks, and Ken Starr. If Ken Starr was on the internet these days, his head would fucking explode. Okay. If Ken Starr had a Reddit account, he wouldn't know what to do with himself. So, this guy was trying to make drama for this woman. You know what I mean? And it's like but it was, behind closed doors. Right? Well, here, you can just hang out with us and we'll pass you around behind closed doors, huh? That's what the man wanted to do. And then they got mad at her because she didn't want to be doing that. Right? With Buffy and Muffy. Drama. Can we say a drama? Y'all think Buffy and Muffy's new? It ain't. It ain't. How many wives and concubines do some of these dudes historically have? This shit ain't new. They want you to think it's new. They want you to think it's the only option you have. Or you can write your own drama. Right, Governor? It's been a pleasure talking to you today. From the great state of Illinois, centrally located. So, I know you think you can not mess with Texas. Well, don't fuck with Illinois. And you know what the Wisconsin people call us? They call us fibs. You know why they call us fibs? Because it stands for fucking Illinois bastard. Would you like any more history lessons about the land of Lincoln today, Governor? Did y'all happen to catch Pritzker on the late night show? I can't remember who was it, Jimmy. Anyway, I thought it was pretty entertaining for a politician. I mean, they kind of, sometimes they come across kind of dry, but I thought it was pretty entertaining. I mean, at least he's wearing a suit, right? Oh, yeah. All right. Well, we're coming right up on it. So this fib is signing off for today. I know some of us have actually exited our states and returned by ourselves. Because we live in the United States of America, Governor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I have so much motivation that even though I am a medical THC patient, I bet I could drive fully through your state, east to west, without inhaling a single puff of THC, just because I would like to prove to you what a road warrior I am, and how you will never stop a woman like me, nor the women who aren't going to vote for you next time. Okay? So while you want to try and distract your districts with Illinois politics, you better start looking in the fucking mirror, bitch. Because the bodies are still being counted, and it's on your watch, and everybody knows it. Well, that being said, Sturgeon Moon coming up. So, yeah. Be prepared for a wonderful moon. Manifest wisely.